Well, all this week, CBC's The National is giving undecided voters the chance to go face-to-face with the party leaders. The first in the series with Liberal leader Justin Trudeau took place last night, and one of those asking him pointed questions was Jessica Heron. Now, she expressed concern about Alberta's oil and gas industry and the future of the province. You're going to get to hear from Jessica in just a moment, but first, you know, her question really is a sign of the growing feeling of alienation in Alberta. So Dan McGarvey sat down and spoke with rural voters in the province about their worries.
Dwayne Needham keeps the shelves stocked at the Bottrell General Store. It's been around since 1901, serving farming and ranching families.
Their worries are the economy and oil. Oil is what makes this province run. Without it, we're in trouble. So.
Needham says the hot topic among his customers in the run-up to this federal election are growing calls for Alberta to separate.
I actually hear more talk about separation than I've ever heard here. Yeah, it is frustration. You know, I mean, I'm sure that the vast majority of them are just upset because of the situation we're in now. And we were the province that took care of Canada for a number of years, and we sort of felt we're being left behind and ignored.
They say the race to get pipelines built is one of the biggest concerns, along with growing feelings of isolation and alienation.
To say we're treated different is to say that there's segregation in Canada and a difference between Canadians, between East and West, and I think that's one of the problems that exists and creates other problems.
Yeah, I think that's quite real. People are feeling that the province hasn't been appreciated. People have been kicked around, they've been working hard, jobs have been disappearing, and the sad reality is the federal government hasn't paid any attention.
I just don't feel the West's concerns are being represented properly.
People say Alberta needs to become a much bigger priority for whichever party wins come October 21st. Dan McGarvey, CBC News, Cremona.
Now, undecided voter Jessica Heron took those very concerns to Justin Trudeau in her face-to-face with the Liberal leader. Again, that took place last night, and here is a bit of that conversation.
And people don't know where their next paycheck is going to come from. We don't know if we're going to be able to put food on the table. We don't even know if we're going to have a table to put food on, essentially. And it's scary. Everything is scary in Alberta right now, and we just don't have any answers to go off of. Yeah. So I just want to ask you what you're going to do to help us.
We made massive investments. We made changes to EI. We made changes that would help out in Alberta. But we recognize that the one thing you really need most is to be able to get our oil resources to new markets so we're not prisoners of the United States. Right now, well, over the past 10 years, the U.S. went from being one of our biggest customers in terms of oil to a big competitor in terms of energy. So we need to find new markets because we were getting a massive discount on our oils that you know very much was squeezing your families. Right. So we recognized that in the 21st century, you can't actually get new pipeline projects built unless you are taking care of the environment and creating partnership with Indigenous peoples. And we've moved forward on those two things to give better predictability, get better social acceptability, and to get our resources to new markets in responsible ways. The shovels are in the ground as we speak on the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion. There's a lot of people across the country who don't understand why it is so important to get our oil to markets other than the United States. And we are going to be investing the profits from that in the transition towards cleaner energy and fighting climate change that I know your kids are really going to need in the coming decades. Right. But we need to support you, your family, and Albertans through this very difficult time. And that's very much what we've tried to do.
But do you see Jessica's kids working in the oil and gas sector? I mean, Jessica,
do you see your kids working?
I mean, do you? Is it fair to say that's a dying industry because it has to be?
No, I think there will always be a need for oil and gas in certain uses over the coming decades, if not the coming century.